Hi, Naz.
Hello,
How are
how are
you?
we? Very good. How's
Awesome.
yourself, bro?
Really good, bro. So tell me your story. What
That's
got you
good.
here?
Ah,
You've heard
man.
this. You've heard this question, maybe. If you watch the one on
Damn,
ones
man.
anyway.
I've been binging on your videos, man. I discovered you like a week ago, probably,
Oh yeah.
which is crazy. Which is
Wow.
crazy for you put a good word there, neurotic seeker like me, you know?
Oh.
I don't know I never came across you. I don't know how, but yeah, we're here now. I've been in the trenches for 15, 16 years,
Oh
bro.
wow.
Yeah. Not a meditating guy.
Okay.
Never been a guy that, sort of goes and sits there and then focuses on
Yeah.
something or nothing or
Yeah.
whatever. Um, for me, it's more like, just like you say, taking a walk and looking at the trees
Yeah.
or just taking a drive, taking that, like tourist drive, whatever,
Yeah.
going into the mountains
Scenic route.
kind of thing. Yeah, yeah, man.
Yeah.
I don't know how to sort of say it. I guess it happens, kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Um, but then, it's. I know this is just a thought, but then I come
That's
back
okay.
to reality, kind of thing.
Yeah.
As we say.
Yeah.
Um, and I can't keep it. It's sort
Yeah.
of, yeah, yeah, sort of lose it.
Yeah. So in your
Mm.
seeking, what did you listen to, and who did you listen to see
Oh
where you're
yeah,
at?
good
Yeah.
question.
Yeah.
Um, so it started from a DMT trip, believe it or not, and
Yeah.
I had no idea what psychedelics were,
Yeah.
and yeah, and a friend just sort of said, "I'll try this," and next thing it was boom, all
Yeah.
these colors and amazing
Yeah.
graphics and 3D and whatnot, just mind blowing, crazy. And then somehow within those experiences that I kept chasing, experience seeking kind of
Yeah.
thing, something else happened, I guess. Um, and then I started getting into the philosophies and into the intellectual side. I
Yeah.
started with Alan Watts, to be honest with you,
Yeah.
around that time, and sort of from that, I moved on to then Ramana Maharshi's,
Yeah.
and then sort of fell in love with Nisargadatta.
Yeah.
Kept chasing those
Yeah. Yeah.
experiences
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
plant medicines and all that. Um, and then I sort of came across non-duality, and that was a whole new thing to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Ooh,
And
wow.
and at the time, wow, that was crazy, man. I was like, oh yeah, this makes sense. The rest of this stuff's all stories and blah blah blah. Yeah, the Rupert Spira, sort of then moved on to Tony and Jim. So it's like the same story you've been hearing, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I never experienced this until I came across non-duality. Oh my God, the frustration. And
Yeah.
every time I come to non-duality, it's like it's cyclical. It's always been cyclical to me. I
Yeah.
leave this stuff and I just bugger off,
Yeah.
because it gets frustrating.
Yeah.
And then somehow I fall back into it,
Yeah.
a- and
It's
and
like
it
a
has the
love-hate
draw.
relationship, right? It's like,
Aha.
I
And
love
I
this,
got
but I
so
hate it.
deep into it. Yes, yes, it becomes addictive.
Yeah.
And then I go so deep into it, and then that's it. I get frustrated, then the
It's like a
anxieties
it's
come,
like
and
a it's like a toxic relationship that you can't
a
break
hundred
up with.
percent, yeah, man. Yeah, you can't let it go. You can't stay with it. I don't know how to say
Yeah.
it, but it becomes so frustrating. And so I am in that frustrating stage. And I
Okay.
discovered you about a week ago. I've been binging on your videos, man.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
it's
what's been
amazing.
happening while binging that video?
Oh, one thing has happened.
Okay.
I can't find the thoughts, man.
Yeah.
It's the first time ever that when I'm just like, oh, what's in between self and no self? And
Yeah.
this, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's been
It's a trick
happening.
actually because there's really no in
It is.
between, right? So,
It is.
yeah.
Yes, I tried it on my friend last night.
Yeah.
He's got no idea about this stuff.
Yeah.
And he was just blank.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's funny, right?
Cool.
Some of the radicals, whatever speakers, they're kind of like they're confused with this. They're like, it's an understanding of the me. I'm like, I don't even talk about the me.
Yeah. Who
Yeah,
is me? What is me? Like,
yeah,
how, how,
yeah.
how do you put a
Or
word to define it, man?
or they'll say there's no in between. There's no. It's still a dream. I'm like, that's just. So I'm gonna ask you, what are you without language?
Mm, yeah, nothing comes up, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not talking about
It's not
language
nothing
of
comes up.
radical non-duality or non-duality anymore, right?
Yeah, yeah, of course. I
Yeah,
understand. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
It's so
yeah.
direct that it's really beyond words and beyond language and comprehension, because I'm not teaching you
Mm,
anything. I'm not wanting you to believe anything that I'm saying. I'm just
mm-hmm.
basically kind of like showing you there's an exit sign, man, from this frustration. And the exit sign is
Yeah.
in between. Um, Although there's no in between, right? So at this moment,
No,
what do you
no.
believe just right at this very instance if you cannot go to the past or the future?
Mm, blank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if it's blank, is there any problem?
No,
No.
no
Okay.
problems. Mm.
Do you know who you are right now?
Mm. No,
No.
no. I, I don't know how one would know who they are.
Yeah, exactly. So that's
It's
what the seeking
impossible.
is. They're trying to know who they are, right? So they
Yeah.
they either go into this kind of like like the I am that from the Nisargadatas, or they
Hmm.
believe that there's no I am or no me. But if you look at it,
Yeah.
it's just the opposite ideas.
I realize I realize that the brain has to jump to something that it recognizes, it
Yeah,
understands, because in the absence of what it understands, it threatens its existence. So it
exactly.
has to latch onto
It has to
something.
latch it. You know what? There's
It's got
some.
to either left or right, you know?
That's
Yeah.
right. So there's beautiful speakers and teachers that would say that there's no me, or it's just the
Mm,
brain, or it's this, and that, right? So you know what? Let's
mm.
go beyond it. You know what I'm saying? Because those are
Yeah,
just
let's do it.
thoughts. Yeah, it's just
Let's
thoughts.
go, man.
Yeah. So what
Absolutely.
are you without any ideas? It's just simple. It's already here.
Mm,
There's nothing further.
yeah.
There's really no ideas here. Is there? Show me it.
Yeah, no.
No. Yeah, so there's just this blank. And if you cannot go to the next, then
Mm,
it's just language. We believe in language. Even believe is a language that
yeah.
we think is true or not, basically, right? So it's between true or false.
Mm. That
Yeah.
that field that Rumi was talking about, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. That
Yeah.
empty space, that's it. It's here.
Yeah.
It can never
Yeah.
really disappear because you just think that it's here or not here. I'm even tripping on
Yeah.
language right now because language, I have to point out something, but I can't point out to something
Mm,
that's already here. You can't think of
mm,
it or not think of it. You can't, it's between doing and not doing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Doing and not doing.
Yeah.
Mm,
Meaning the
yeah.
you that you're counting on to get there to know this is getting in the way, right? So when you get out of the way, there's neither you or
Yeah.
not you, because a no me or no you or no self is just an idea of the me to perpetuate itself as a no me. The me wants to become a no me, but there's no me in the first place. The self wants to
Yeah.
become no self, right? The awareness wants to be aware,
Mm,
but there's it. What are you without language? What are you without this language?
can't even say.
Yeah,
I don't know how you could say.
yeah. So if you cannot say
Yeah.
it, then this must be it.
Impossible.
This must be it.
Mm.
Don't wait for fireworks, because fireworks is the next. Don't get caught up with everything that I've said or anyone that has ever said in the past. Don't go into belief. Yeah.
Mm.
And in that clarity, there's nothing missing. What's missing?
Yeah. Well, right now there's nothing missing.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. So is there anything to seek?
No.
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 So it's game over.
It's just a continuity, I guess.
Yeah.
It's just
the game of words, the game of polarities, the game of this and that. If you don't say a word, then it's game over. If you can't name things, then it's game over. Without language, what's a game?
the game comes from the language.
Exactly. The language is the game. The language is the illusion.
Yeah.
Because if you look at, if you look at cats and dogs and babies, they don't have language, right? But they're present.
No.
Yeah.
100%, yeah.
They can walk
I've got a
around
nephew.
naked. Yeah, they can walk around naked, saying, but not a care in the
Yeah.
world.
Not a care in the world, yeah.
Yeah.
So would you say babies are not self-aware? Is that what?
No. They don't have language. They
They're
don't have the language self-aware, right?
Yeah.
Who's aware then? If you look at it, who's aware? Or it's just a thought?
At the moment?
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Don't know who's aware.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So there's a directness here that we can't put a finger on, call anything. It's nameless, right? But it's here talking to talking to itself, saying, going back and forth. But the words are relevant. There's a communion. There's something that's connected here that can never be disconnected. The language creates this illusion that it's disconnect, and it gets addicted to seeking for words. But what if we take away all the language? What if we take away all the concepts? Although you also say that taking away the concepts, but you know what I'm saying? What's in between words and no words?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This, I guess.
Yeah. Whereabouts are you, Nas? Are you in the
States?
in
Sydney, Australia.
Oh, you're in Australia. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have an Aussie accent.
Aussies.
I do get a lot. No, not really.
Oh, yeah. Well,
but I do get a lot of people from Australia as well, right? I get a lot of people from Sydney, a lot of people from,
I'm from Sydney.
Brisbane.
I'm from Sydney.
Yeah. And what else? Perth, just all over Australia for some odd reason. The algorithm is taking me there.
Yeah.
Have you noticed a whole bunch of Aussies on my one and ones?
Yeah. I was watching last night a lady, I forgot her name. I think she was from Perth and she went to England or something for 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen a few Australians. Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild, right? It's wild how this is reaching, But yeah, you know what? So what else is there to seek? Once you realize that there's nothing to realize, what's there to realize at this moment?
Nothing.
Nothing. Yeah.
When sometimes, like, I got two daughters, right?
Yeah.
5 and 3, and sometimes they would just stare at something, and I'd be like, Hazel.
Yeah.
And they're like, this happened to me a lot more when I was younger.
Yeah.
Is it that? Is that it? Because it's blank. It's blank. Like,
yeah. It's almost like, like, with computer, right? There's the program basically is ones and zeros, right? That's the
Yes,
same
yes.
as language, just like ones and zeros. This and that, it's opposites, right? You and I,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah,
Um, me or no me, right? It just continues this
yeah.
programming. If you're still buying into the programming of the language, then you're still in the
Mm.
program to think that the program is there's something missing. There's a next.
Yes.
But if you control alt delete and then the computer
Hmm.
reboots, then there's no language. Everything is just happening
Hmm.
automatically. So the virus is the
Yeah, yeah.
language, basically, if you look at it.
Hmm.
You're basically seeking
Yeah.
language. And if somebody, this is not just a
Mm.
thought, that's still a thought. You can never get out of it, right?
Yeah.
Everyone is just talking words, but words are all meaningless. But yet they believe in either
Yeah.
this or that. So, you know what? It's almost like everyone went the opposite direction trying to explain something that cannot really be explained.
Hmm.
They'll say it, it cannot be explained, but they'll say that there's contracted energy or
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
saying so this is a breakup with non-duality.
Yeah, I guess it's an attempt by the mind to label it, to put it in a box.
Yeah.
Just,
So this is the same as basically going back into innocence, like your kids, basically, right? Like staring,
hmm.
the blankness. And then
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
more authenticity with life that happens because that
Yes,
that
yes.
neurotic seeking is what's there to find. People still enjoy the one-on-ones, you know what I'm saying? But at least there's
Yeah.
a relief in those videos. Would you rather watch me just talk nonsense for a couple of hours with no relief but just words?
No, because there's no point to it.
Exactly. Yeah. So
Yeah.
language becomes meaningless now, doesn't it?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you sort of perceive it that way.
Yeah.
But the mind,
What are you without the belief of the mind? Let's go there. It's just a belief.
without the belief
Yeah,
of
of the
the mind.
mind.
Yeah. Blank. Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't it so peaceful in this blankness?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely is.
Yeah.
Definitely is. I guess you always have an expectation of it being something else, and that's why you miss it.
That's right. Yeah. You're always
Yeah.
overlooking what's already here because it's
Yes.
blank. But everybody's
Yes.
just really
Yeah.
looking for that blank, that innocence, that
Hmm.
that infiniteness, right? Because is there a beginning or ending here in the
Yeah.
blank? No.
No. No. Would you say there's would you say there's intensity to this? Or that's even a thought.
That's
That's
even a
just a
thought.
thought.
That's trying to go to the next, right? You know
Yes,
what?
yes, that's right. Yeah,
It
yeah.
and please hear this. It's all going to be
Uh-huh.
different for everybody. We all have different,
Of course.
thumbprints.
Yeah.
So this unfolding or undoing of what you believe, or what you need
Mm-hmm.
to, what you need to get or something, is almost like
Mm-hmm.
some people it's like, oh wow, or some people it's like, oh, this is disappointing, or for some people
Mm-hmm.
it's just like, okay, so you already tapped into it because if you were already listening to the one-on-ones, it's almost like a
Mm.
trap already, right? It's like were you able to
Yeah.
listen to others after the one-on-ones? Probably not,
No.
right? Yeah.
No.
Yeah, because it's something
I
new,
don't
right?
see a point to it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because the other ones is almost like regurgitated, recycled, just
Yeah.
repetitious over and over again. Although the one-on-ones can be repetitious, but at least there is a relief there. When you go in between, you're like, oh shit, I go blank.
Oh yeah, then definitely I could definitely I'm a big skeptic as well, but I could definitely say that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never done them. Oh, actually I've done a one-on-one once,
Yeah.
maybe during COVID with just some guy that I found.
Yeah.
But
Was it just
yeah.
more conceptual?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was more poetic, I was
Yeah.
some poetic, but I guess as you said, everyone's different,
Yeah.
I found out that the non-duality talks or teachings, whatever we want to call it. It drives you nuts, but then presented in a different theme, like I'm into Sufism as well. They
Oh,
tend to have a way
I
with
love some of
words
the
like
Rumi stuff. Hafiz too, right? This
Rumi,
Suf.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Hafiz,
Oh,
Sadi,
Hafiz.
Rumi,
Oh.
and you had Ibn Arabi, man. These guys are like crazy, like the way they,
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess
And
it's the mind just making more of,
yeah, it's all made
what's
up,
not needed actually. Yeah.
but somehow, you know what I'm saying? It's like
There's a way with
if
words.
it's
That's
a
what I'm
way with
saying.
words, right? Because you know
Yeah.
what, although as I don't want to condemn, because people like, I went into my poetry phase. I don't know if you listened
Hmm.
to some of those videos that
Yeah, yeah, I did.
I
Yeah,
just kind of like
yeah.
went into this stuff. And
Hmm.
you know what, probably not as beautiful as Rumi or Hafiz, but there was clarity
Hmm.
there that was being expressed, and it was just almost like a stream of consciousness. Like I'm coming
Yeah.
from this in between space, right? So there were
Hmm.
beautiful words that would come out, and I was like, wow, because I did not know that I was a poet until I just started,
Yeah.
because before I was identified more with the radical. So you know what,
Hmm.
damn if you do, damn if you don't. So when I'm like, let me just share, some clarity just coming from this moment, right? And then all these words
Uh,
just came out, and it was just beautiful. um and and it's coming from
I,
that.
I like that word you're using, clarity.
Yeah,
It has no baggage, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
yeah, because
I know
people
it's
are
a word,
so,
I didn't,
it's just a
yeah,
word, but
but
people
so,
are
yeah,
so caught up with the
yeah.
word enlightenment, right? Or
Correct, because
and
that's something else, something
yeah,
grand or
something grand.
profound, you know?
But you know what, we've been
Yeah.
sold a story over and over again about enlightenment. It's romanticized, right? and
Hmm.
and according to this person, it's different according to that. So it's just really opinions about enlightenment, because one will say that there are stages of enlightenment, and then someone will say that there's no enlightenment, and then someone will say this enlightenment, that enlightenment, different versions. It's like this
Yeah.
war of words. So basically I go, what's between enlightenment and no enlightenment? You can't
Yeah.
say. So I call it
Yes.
clarity without any language, without
It is
words. Yeah,
clarity. That's what it
yeah,
is. That's probably, it's probably the best word.
yeah.
And like, I don't know, I don't know if you can even call this an experience, because
It's between experience and non-experience.
yeah,
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 yeah. There you go. There you go.
yeah.
You bring it
And when
back
I
to
see in
its
between, there's really no in between. It's a trick. So you can't really say it, but we have to say it in words, or we have to almost kind of like,
yeah.
it's no grokking it, right? But there is, it's someone was trying to explain it to me. It's like, it does not need my belief system
Mm,
to see this
no,
clarity. Yeah. You don't have to believe in what I say, because
no.
it's a weird thing to say, but it's felt, isn't it? Not even that. It's between felt and not felt.
Yeah.
But there's something here that's almost undeniable.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not energy.
No.
When I think about the word energy, I think of vibration. That means
And
there's
everybody
no
just,
vibrations. It's
it's
just
almost like
clarity.
it's just clarity.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess we're also just trying to use the words that are pleasant to us,
Yeah.
I guess,
Yeah.
or to me.
And
You
the
know,
words are
you
just
can't really put
really,
a word on it.
you can't, we can't. So we
You
try to
can't.
come up with words like boundless clarity, or
Yeah.
or undiscoverable clarity. um it's
Mm,
because we get caught up in the dichotomy, the opposites, in the
yeah, yeah.
parallels, on all the kind of stuff like that, right? So we're trying to explain
Mm,
something that really cannot be captured by word, but by even saying that it cannot be captured by word, then we just captured it with the word. That's why when I go in the
mm,
in between, or when I ask, what are you, without language,
mm.
no response necessary, because
No,
you go directly to it.
yeah.
Yeah. I also like using
Uh,
this word. It's like a sobriety, because we get so intoxicated with seeking, with
Yeah.
ideas, with concept. The concept of no me, the concept of contracted energy, the concept of awareness is all concepts, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what's beyond concepts? Then you can't say anything about it.
No,
No,
you can't know it.
no,
You have to know it to name it. But if
that's
you
right. Yeah,
can't know it, how are you going to name it?
that's right. Yeah. And people get
Mm.
frustrated when I say, I have no ideas.
Oh no, man, this is so comfortable. It's so relaxing right
It's
now.
so relaxing, right?
Yeah. I see. I reckon. I think the reason why people get so frustrated with radical non-duality because the speaker takes a position.
They
That's
do.
their flaw.
And you know
That's
what's
their
funny?
fault.
One of the
Yeah.
person that I did a one-on-one with started speaking with a radical non-duality speaker. And
Mm.
you know what
Hmm.
his response was? When he basically said, "Oh, I talked to this person, Emerson, and it doesn't understand what I'm talking about." And he goes, "It's
Mm.
almost like this person is teaching me, right? It's
Does
teaching
it?
me because they're like so
Yeah.
confused with this, right?
Wow.
It's more radical than radical, not to say that, not to take any position, because saying that there's no position here is a position, there's
Yeah.
no belief
But
here, that's a belief, right? So they get caught up
correct.
in their
Yeah.
own absolute belief systems.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, I really liked Jim at the time, back in 2019, and I
yeah,
sort of binged on
yeah.
his teachings or
I
talks,
did
whatever you want
too.
to call
Did too.
it.
Yeah.
Man, and something did happen, man. And I was listening to one of your other videos the other day. You said, I'm kind of like you. I like walking, like staring
Yeah.
at the trees, listening to the birds chirping. Um, and you spoke about like the leaves falling and you sort of almost like gold dust or something like
Yeah.
that.
Oh, yeah,
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 man, I could definitely relate to that. I was listening
yeah,
to Jim like so intensely, man, so intensely that I wouldn't like, I'll just lock myself in a little room and just binge on his videos. And then
yeah,
one day I was really like frustrated. I'm like, no, I need to get out.
yeah.
So I went for my walk and 10, 15 minutes into my walk, man, everything was glittering. There were
That's right.
sparkles
Yeah,
in the dirt. There were
yeah.
sparkles in the dirt.
It's
I was looking
golden,
at the
isn't it? Yeah,
footpath. Yeah, at the footpath, and I'm like, it's so beautiful. I was like, how
yeah,
did I never pay attention to the
yeah,
footpath?
yeah,
Uh, but yeah, after a while it was gone. And then the next day I was
yeah.
like,
It
oh
just
no,
create. It
that's
just.
not how the footpath really looks like.
See, that's the
Yeah,
that's the thing is when you start listening to that and you get a glimpse, then you get addicted to that. Now you want that permanent,
correct.
right? And now
Experience
that
seeking, yeah.
experience it, right? So because you
Yeah.
know what, if you hear there's no me enough, then you start believing it. Then it shuts down the mind temporarily, right? You know what I'm saying, when you're walking and everything. But guess what? Because it's just an opposite. There's no me is an opposite. Then there's no me, the belief system also
Hmm.
ends. And all of a sudden you're
Yeah.
seeing the magical kind of like incantation or the spell is broken. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah. Yeah.
and then you know what? Rather that's why I call it a curse, because I kept on having so many glimpses, but nothing ever stayed. It was just kind of like, damn it,
Yeah.
right? It's like because I'm buying into someone else's idea that there's no me.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
and um and that's basically a almost like a position. Well, it is a position, and you want to stay
Yeah.
in that position. But you know what? Unfortunately, you know what I'm saying? Um, that's just another thought.
Yeah. Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because really, if you go in between me and no me, you can't say that there's no me here. Because saying that there's
No,
no me is a
because
knowing.
yeah, that's still taking a position again.
It's taking a position again. Yeah.
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 Yeah. Yeah.
And you know what? Rather than the speaker becoming kind of like a almost like a champion or a cheerleader, they became
Yeah.
gatekeepers.
And they become
because
really angry. And then, like, I seen other people talking to them, like, oh, you did that. Oh, there's no me. There's no one here. And they reinforce that position that they've taken.
they do, yeah.
And I
And
noticed that. I noticed that after I listened to you.
yeah,
I was like, oh, all these people are just taking positions. And
yeah. And then
yeah,
they'll say that
they're
there's no one to
stuck.
take a position, which is another position. They're
Yeah, which is
trapped.
another position.
You know what? I was talking to this a guy that has become my friend, you know what I'm saying, for quite a while. And then when I started
Mm,
changing the way that I spoke about this, and I said, it's a trap. This some of these, it's, and they don't like me saying this, but they're trapped in a language. They're trapped in a belief system. So they just gone into a dream that they think it's not a dream because there's no me, it's a dream. But no, there's no me is also a
mm,
dream. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? It's
yeah.
just another dream, right? So they can believe all that
Mm,
stuff all they want, right? But I don't want to be complicit when someone calls me and they're depressed and suicidal because, or dissociative, right? There's this kids,
yeah,
20, 21 years old, they're dissociating because they're gonna like, it's almost like a cognitive dissonance because you're being told that there's no me, but in your experience,
yeah,
I feel like there's a me here. And they'll say, well, it's a
yeah,
contracted energy. And then you buy that, right? So
yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah. So it's just a lot of musings and a lot of opinions about something that
yeah.
cannot be held, right?
No,
It's almost like when it's the same thing as it's someone's basically someone will say that you can only wake up, to enlightenment when you realize the supreme self. Or when when you've meditated, blessed, awesome, 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 but they don't know that they just bought into more belief systems and words. And
yeah,
it's sacrilegious and blasphemous to say, for me to say, what are you without that belief? It's not a belief.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
well,
yeah, they
even a
have to
non-belief is a
fight it.
belief. Yeah.
Mhm. Mm,
So I don't even like, like, if you notice, I don't really respond to comments, or I just delete it, you know what I'm saying?
no,
Because it's a moot point. And I care about the people that I do one-on-ones with. And it's a vulnerable state,
yeah.
right? Because you're just fresh into this clarity. And then somebody wants to
Mm,
muddy it right away. They'll call it, oh, this is not this is not that. But they're just
mm,
words. It's a it's a beautiful unfolding of clarity. But the beliefs, you know what I'm saying? It's brand new, right? It's almost like um it's been so stuck. I was wondering why like I was hosting some of this
mm,
non-duality events, and I'm like, why are people coming back over and over and over again? Why are they addicted now? And I'm like, oh, they
yeah.
believe the
It
whole
is addictive.
boundless energy and
Yeah,
contracted energy. There's no me. It becomes a religion.
yeah. I
and
can
and
actually
when
see how this could destroy someone's life, someone that's
Yeah, it's
naive and
dangerous.
walks into this game and they keep chasing and chasing and chasing and then yeah.
Like, instead of spending time with your
Mm.
daughters, you're caught up listening to the next video by
Yes,
someone, although they're saying the same
yes.
thing. It's almost like hypnosis if you look at it. Now you're
It is,
hypnotized that
yeah.
there's no me, right? And
Mm, yeah.
yeah,
To be
rather
honest
than,
with you, really, is there a me or is there not a me? You can't point to it really.
no, 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 it's
You can't.
no, you can't. Yeah. So to say that there's no me, you just landed into another belief system. And you know what's kind of funny, right?
Yeah.
People get triggered with my videos now. So they write me this horrible, you're not horrible, it's just letters. Like, oh, you used to be
Okay.
so clear and now you've thrown it all away by doing this one-on-one. So I'm like,
Uh-huh.
but no one was getting a way out of being clear. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because clear becomes
Yeah.
an idea now that if you only speak like this person, then you're clear.
Yeah, yeah, I get it.
And,
Yeah, if you
and when you
speak like
speak,
this person.
and then when you are a speaker and then you speak exactly the speaker, then you're anointed as the new one,
Mm,
right?
yeah.
But where's the authenticity in that?
Mm.
It's like a cheap imitations of an idea that's a bit old. It's about 20 years old. You know what I'm saying? with with no with no evolution whatsoever. No, no, no. It has to be. It cannot be compromised. What words, belief
Yeah.
systems, right?
It's crazy how people fall into these traps,
They
eh?
do. Yeah, 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 yeah.
And it's crazy how many people go
I
how
have
many years without realizing
I have
that
friends
they're in a
that
trap.
have ended abruptly because I'm speaking in a different way, and instead of me being happy for me, they're appalled at what I'm
Mm.
doing. I'm appalled at what you're doing, Emerson.
Yeah, yeah,
Because it's getting people out. You know what I'm
yeah, yeah,
saying? Yeah,
yeah. I mean, what's the point sitting there? Oh, there's nothing wrong with sitting there for a minute and meditating, and
yeah,
but when it becomes a routine,
yeah. Well, even listening to the same thing over and over again, it becomes a routine.
yeah,
Yeah,
it does, it
it
does.
does.
Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah. How you feeling, man?
Very comfortable, very relaxed,
Yeah,
very, very relaxed.
that's good.
I can hear the hum.
Yeah,
I've
there
been
it goes.
hearing the hum.
Yeah.
I've been hearing the hum for years, man. Like,
Yeah.
um, there's a condition called tinnitus or something like
Tinnitus.
that. I don't,
Tinnitus. Yeah.
tinnitus. There we go.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that. I don't.
No, no, no.
It's
I've already had one person,
yeah,
three people that have basically said it's not tinnitus.
yeah.
Emerson, I checked
Yeah,
my
I hear
ear.
it right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not tonight. Yeah, no.
No, no.
It's
I've also
like
gone myself to
you.
test because I'm a DJ, right? So I'm
Okay.
always concerned about my
Oh yeah,
ears,
of course. Yeah,
right?
he
Because
is. Yeah,
it's my
yeah,
hearing those, when you're mixing, right? You have to hear. And
yeah,
so yeah, I've always got my ears checked. He goes, "Oh, you don't have tinnitus." I'm like, okay. And then I started asking people that I did one-on-one with. I'm like, "Do you hear that hum?" And one
yeah,
by one, they're like, "Yeah, I do." Right.
yeah.
And
Like the cicadas. You
it's
said that
yeah,
sounds like yes, it does sound.
yeah,
It's like a consistent hiss, like a consistent hissing high pitch.
yeah.
Yeah,
Because you know what, when this was unfolding for me, that's what I kept on noticing. Because you know what, I was like, who do I, do I need to confirm this with someone? All I knew that was that something that was undid for me, something was undone, something kind of like unfolded, and
mm,
and I've never felt discontent, you know what I'm saying, or this peaceful in my life, right? So call it whatever you want.
yeah.
And sometimes I just burst into dancing in the middle of the street, you know what I'm saying? Did you hear that guy, Jacob? It's him, kind of like,
Jacob.
he's the one that was in the recovery, right? So we did a second video and he was basically saying, oh, it's
Hmm.
like a beautiful, like it was like a beautiful, date, Emerson, although he's married to his wife. It's like there was in loveness and everything, was calmness. And then after 3 days, he was like dancing around and everything. And then after 3 days,
Mm,
he went into his bed and started crying, saying, and it's
mm.
beautiful because it's almost the
It is
contrast,
beautiful. Yeah.
the contrasts
Yeah.
of, or today I was walking down, and I
Mm,
always talk about my morning walks. I was walking down, and then my dog rested for a bit. I laid down,
hmm.
you know what I'm saying? Put my hand, and I was just looking at this dark sky because it's fall here now. And
Hmm.
all of the
Oh,
winds
it
kind of
must be
like,
beautiful out there.
oh my
The nice,
goodness.
beautiful
So I
trees,
talk,
man.
talk about the golden
Amazing.
thing, right? So it's like, and I was like,
Yeah,
this is like a Disney movie, man. Like
yeah,
or
yeah,
like Hayao Miyazaki, that Japanese animator. You know that guy?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm like,
Yes,
this is
yes,
like an
yes, yes.
animation thing here. And I look at my dog
Yeah,
with this big, beautiful eyes. I'm in an animation.
yeah, yeah.
It's all
It's
made
like a
up.
psychedelic trip, man. There's a little town.
Yeah. And of course, people
Yeah,
are
there's a
walking by, like, why the hell is this guy lying down, like in the middle of fall? Like,
yeah, yeah. I go to this little place. It's in the mountains, Blue Mountains. You would have heard of it in Australia, Sydney, and the town's called Mount Wilson. And Australia doesn't have obviously the
the
sort of
fall.
trees and the
Yeah.
plants that you guys got over
Yeah.
there, but this town's like planted with European nature and trees like that.
Oh,
So in
nice.
the autumn when you go, it's absolutely amazing. It's beautiful. Like I go there for my
Yeah.
like mushroom trips. I
Oh, no.
just go there, camp, camp there for 2 days and just like walk around the town. There's absolutely no one there, but it's gorgeous. It's
Yeah.
beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah, there's
yeah.
just something much more to what we see and what we name and what we think and what we know, what we believe. Because if you take away all of that,
Mm,
the quiet wonder, the silent presence, you know what I'm saying? The beautiful appearances, the ever shape shifting appearances. And it's almost like
mm,
it's so majestic and humble at the same time.
yeah,
Yeah. Right. And
definitely.
it's not something
Mm,
that's separate. It's not something that can be known, because why would you need to know something that's
mm.
not separate?
How would you know something that's not separate?
Exactly.
You would
Yeah.
have to know the whole, but
Yeah.
if the whole is absolutely infinite, how
Yeah.
can you know that? It's
That's right. Yeah, it's
impossible.
impossible. Yeah. Yeah,
So
and
to
then
know the part, you have to know the full, but you cannot know the full.
that's right.
There you go.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah,
How can the finite
yeah,
know the infinite?
yeah,
Yeah.
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 Mm,
And it's just this yeah, it's just this wonderful display of separate, you know, illusions.
like a
That's
dance, like a
it's a dance.
dance.
Yeah, it's a dance. It's a
Yeah,
dance. Yeah.
yeah. It's like that.
And then we're just muddying because we're saying so many
Mm.
words.
Correct.
Right?
Yes, we are. We are muddying
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
That's what I said, you know what,
Mm,
in the beginning when I was started speaking about this. I'm like, there's so much
mm,
clarity here that I was afraid that by speaking about it, we'll just muddy it. And
mm,
and I kept on saying that. And you know, and there was this guy that basically said, "Hey, Emerson, you used to say this. How come you're saying too much, so much about it?" I'm like, "Yeah, why am I saying so much about it?" But you know what?
mm.
It's just poetry. It's just gonna, like, like how those beautiful, like, like brilliant poets, like,
Pointers.
pointers.
That's
Yeah,
it. Yeah,
like
yeah,
how Rumi, what I'm saying, when I
yeah.
always say this, and I think it's inspired by that. In between, where
Mm.
there's no in between, you and I meet, and
Yes,
then we
yes.
dissolve, and then we play in a field where both of us are not there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And it's just, oh wow, what I'm saying? It's just like, even if words are all made up, there is a wowness to it.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't put a word on it, but everyone, I guess, has that special word that they like to
That's
sort
right.
of name it.
Yeah.
Like for me, even though it's a concept, I understand.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd say it's God,
Yeah. Yeah.
even
Yeah.
though that's just a word, just a
It's just a
concept.
word. Yeah, but that's okay. What I'm saying?
Yeah,
Yeah. I know you're just
yeah,
trying
it's
to say
God.
what's between God and not God, and there it is.
It's this thing.
Yeah.
I should go
Don't
more
even don't even get me.
on walks.
What's that? Yeah, yeah.
So I should
Sometimes
go
I
more
just
for walks, for more
there's some
walks.
sometimes I just break down and cry, what I'm saying? Out of the sheer
Oh man,
beauty
yeah.
of, I'm
Oh
like,
man,
oh my
I'm
goodness.
very weak in the heart. Yeah, very weak in the heart. It happens to me, man. I can't like sometimes I see a child that's crying, I just can't contain myself. I'm like, am I a weak person? I see suffering on TV and whatever is happening in the world.
Oh yeah, don't even
Yeah, it
get me
really
started. Yeah,
deeply
yeah,
affects me
yeah,
emotionally. But then I'm like, am I weak? Do I
yeah.
have a problem? And and then the thought comes up, and like, oh, maybe I don't have a problem. Maybe these people have problems, but it's just the mind trying to take a position once
That's
again.
what it is. That's what it is.
The
Yeah,
position of being a
yeah,
compassionate and whatnot, or a hard
yeah,
person. You know what I mean?
yeah,
It's just trying to trick us consistently.
yeah. But
The
in between
trickster,
that, there's an authenticity that just cries out of
Correct.
nowhere, right?
Absolutely, yes.
And
There
then it
is.
just
There is.
laughs,
Yeah.
laughs. When people
Out
used
of
to,
nowhere as well. Yeah.
yeah, that's when people usually, the biggest obstacle with people watching my videos, because why does he laugh so much?
Mm,
And I'm like, well, I can't fake not laughing anymore. right? It just comes naturally for me now because there's no more seriousness, with what's happening and everything. And but at the same time, man, I was such a blessing. This past week, I encountered not it was 4 people over the age of 80. I'm
I've
gonna
seen some of
publish two
them.
of them. No, there's this new one just this week. Um,
Oh, okay. One was from Australia. I seen a lady that was said she's 80 or something. Yeah.
yeah, there's a
Oh
man
man.
now. There's a man now. I cried, man, because he had this clarity and he wept and he basically said, "Oh, it's almost so bittersweet, right?" Because he said, "I wasted all the time when I could have it's just always been here. It's always here." And then he's seen like so many different teachers and followed so many different paths and everything. But at the same time, it's a relief. It's bittersweet, right? Then he kept on saying
Mm,
there's this beautiful postcards from, he's waiting for the postcards from, it's like someone like the gurus and the enlightened ones, kept on sending postcards of wish you were here, but you would never get there.
yeah.
Yeah. all the
You'd never get
teachings
there.
all the teachings are just basically saying wish you were here. And this beautiful postcard,
Yeah.
but they can't show you the place, right? So when we
Mm,
spoke, it was just a beautiful conversation. He had so much wisdom, so much beautiful anecdotes, and so much beautiful clarity, right? I was just like,
mm,
I was humbled by it, right? I'm like, oh wow, right?
nice.
Yeah.
I'd be patiently waiting for that video.
Yeah, it'll come out soon. And there's another one. There's another guy that met with the true Krishnamurtis,
Uh-huh.
Jiddu Krishnamurti, and
Oh,
he
Jiddu
was
Krishna.
he was also friends with Yuji Krishnamurti.
Oh my God, Yuji Krishnamurti,
Yeah.
bro, that
So
guy.
and then
Yeah.
and then he and then he also met the two Tonys, Muji, which is Tony, Muji's
Uh-huh.
name is
Yeah,
Tony,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
Tony
yeah. Tony.
Parsons, right? And you know what he said?
Mm,
They can only get you
mm,
so far. They can only give you postcards. He didn't say
yes.
that, but I added a
Yes.
postcards part.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then
yeah.
he was watching the one-on-ones that I was doing, and something clicked. And then he said that he
Mm,
used to put me on a pedestal, but the guy had so much beautiful clarity, right? Just
mm,
watching the
mm,
one-on-ones. We don't even his daughter gave him a gift. So those
mm,
are two, and then there's other two 80-year-old men. No, one is a woman,
mm-hmm.
and that, oh man, it's just like I'm happy that they're seeing these one-on-one videos, right? And
Yeah. To be honest with you, um, yeah, before I was gonna speak to you, I was also thinking, because I've been speaking to my father about this for quite a while.
yeah.
And my father is a military guy, so he's sort of he's retired now. He's 75 and retired as a major general.
Oh wow.
But but I've been speaking to him about this, and he's been telling me that he knows that there's something to this.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, his English is no good. But
Oh
I think, uh, I don't think it has to do anything with language, I guess.
no. No. No, no,
Yeah.
no. There, I was talking to this young girl. This young girl was recommended by her mom. I did one-on-ones with her mom, and her mom in her one-on-one, she said, "Oh my goodness, I feel like I'm Lucy, from Lucy the movie, right? Like
Yeah.
that reached that, whatever." And
Yes.
so she recommended her
Yes.
daughter. Basically, her daughter was going through some depression and anxiety, and then her daughter was like, oh, "This is like I feel like I'm on LSD and something. I feel so clear right now." And then she said,
Yeah.
who would be great for this? My grandma. And I was like, oh my goodness, I'm
Wow.
so happy that this is reaching, you know what I'm saying, multi
Mm.
generations without the because let's be honest, non-duality has become
Yeah.
very elite.
Yes.
It has
Yes.
become almost very, very kind of like, like
Yeah.
hoity-toity, whatever words that you might want to call it, or I got to non-duality. So all of you spiritual, losers, basically, saying I got to this. But why don't we open up the gates, you know what I'm saying, and just make it available? Because people are because people have a whole bunch of opinions of what non-duality is. But what I'm trying to present here is that let's go to that place that you can't even say duality or non-duality, because it doesn't matter.
No.
When the language just, really and so that, so that people that probably has depression or anxiety and everything can have access to this and have that clarity without the prerequisites of, oh, you have to know this and this and that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because when you sort of come into this world of seeking, you're sort of like they precondition you that, oh, this stuff takes 50 years, 30
That's right.
years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like everyone that walks into this, they come with pre-programming, thinking that they will never get it because, which is true. They'll never get it anyway.
But it becomes very snobbish, right? It becomes this almost like this very like, oh, you know what, you will never get here. You know what I'm saying? And it looks like there's a whole bunch of dudes, you know what I'm saying, waiting by the gate, like, you know what I'm saying, kind of like, you're not a part of this, like a billionaire's boys club, basically, right? Yeah.
You need a Kundalini awakening.
Or from the other one, it's like they have the, and it's just different boys club, basically, right? It just reminds me of high school, right?
Yeah.
So one group will say that, oh, you know what, you will need to do this, and that. You need to do, level work, and, you have to be awareness practices and everything. And this other group will say that, you know what, you have a contracted energy. They have the different version of it, right? There's a contracted energy, or there's still a me there and everything, because they planted the belief in the me now, so that you can be a no me, right? So that's the, and then there's another group that will say that, oh, you need some trauma work and everything. Why don't we just, everybody just get together and just, you don't have to keep on dissing each other, and basically say, it's okay. Saying if that's what you believe, cool.
Yeah, trauma. Yeah. I spoke about this years ago.
Yeah.
When I had my psychedelic, whatever.
Yeah. Everything is
this comes with psychedelics, but it comes with a baggage. With psychedelics, it always comes with a baggage.
Yeah.
It has like a fantastical story or visuals or whatever. Yeah. It's not clear. It is clear, but it always has some sort of a baggage with it,
It's the same thing as a glimpse, basically. If you look at a glimpse, right? What, like, like you get really depressed, saying, and then you listen that it's all hopeless or whatever, and then you get out, you see some clarity, but for a few moments. And it's the same thing with psychedelics, right? You kind of like you have this like beautiful colors and everything, and then it ends, and you like, I have to do this, do that, kind of thing. And there's nothing wrong with it, right? You know what? I applaud people that goes to trauma work and shadow work and psychedelic work and everything. I applaud people that go to meditation and everything, right? Because it's just all a part of this. But to say that that's the only way, it's a belief system, right? Yeah. Usually people that come to me, they've done all the trauma work already. They've done all the psychedelics.
Psychedelics, man.
Saying, they want out, saying. So if I keep them in the merry-go-round, then I'm just basically gatekeeping, right? So, but if I encounter somebody that has severe trauma, I will recommend the person to go to a psychotherapist or a trauma worker and everything. You know what I'm saying? And not just say it's not happening or whatever. Nothing's happening. But it's beautiful, saying I learned something from the 88-year-old guy. It's just all a game. Everything is allowed, right? Because the compassionate character here will say that, hey, if you're going to gatekeep this, quit, you know what I'm saying? But it's part of the game. It's a part of it. Psychedelics is a part of it. Some trauma work, some release, whatever. It's all a part of it. But at the same time, without language, Sweet, sweet clarity.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nothing is needed.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is also a part of it, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm.
So do you like Sydney?
Yeah. My life.
You lived in Sydney all your life, right? So you've like,
No, no, not all my life. I've been here for about 25 years. Uh, it's a very similar story to Najib. Uh,
oh yeah.
that is another guy that he spoke. He's Afghan. I'm Afghan as well.
Oh,
So
you're Afghan as well. Oh, Najib is great.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I've been through the same sort of stories. Refugee, spent my childhood and like pretty much raised in a war zone, man. Spent
Oh yeah.
weeks and weeks in basements, no food, no
Oh
water,
wow.
refugee, crossing over borders, going over mountains. I was a little kid, man. Yeah.
Oh
Um,
wow.
it's a very, very similar story
Yeah.
to Najib's story. Yeah. Mm. But yeah, I've been here
Beautiful.
in Australia for about 25 years. It's amazing, man. It's beautiful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So when did you move to Australia? How old were you? Must be young.
Sorry.
How
Yeah, I
old were
was
you when
young.
you
I was about 15, 16. Yeah.
same here. I moved
15.
to Canada when I was 15, 16.
Yeah.
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 And
From the Philippines, eh?
from the Philippines, yeah. The
Yeah.
story was different. In the Philippines were more we had um it was like a brain drain. So when we grew up with maids and drivers, you know what I'm saying? So we're
Oh,
privileged.
yeah, yeah,
When
yeah.
we came to
Yes, yes,
Canada, we
yes.
were like, so when are the maids
Mm.
coming? And then my mom goes, you guys
Oh,
are the
wow.
maids now. So we can like from riches to rags kind of story. And it was just, and then my dad was like the chief accountant of the
Mm.
Senate. And then, you know, when you would go to his
Wow.
building,
Mm.
he was the boss of like the whole building, basically. And then
Mm.
he came here and
Mm.
he was like, he was trying to work at an auto factory, you know, for car, like Ford Motor Company, and he could not
Yeah.
take it. So it was like, it was just like the hardship started here, right? So,
Correct. Yeah, yeah,
so when I
yeah.
was like 16, 17, I had to work hard. I had to pay, you
Mm.
know, help my parents with mortgage. So I was working 3 jobs and going to high school.
Wow, wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
did similar.
yeah,
I did similar. I used to go to school and then work after school and work on the weekends and then yeah,
yeah.
similar.
So the immigrant
Mm.
experience was like, wow. So when I finally made it as an immigrant, you know, when
Mm.
you're like when you buy a house and you know saying
Hmm.
um
Yeah, yeah.
and then when you can like reach the almost like the height or the the ultimate as an immigrant, having a house, you know, being
Mm.
married, that kind of thing. And then I was like, this is not enough. And that's when I just started to seek.
Yeah.
And of course, when I
I
got
think
into that
it's
got into that enlightenment thing, I was like, this is not enough.
yeah,
But not enough is just a language.
correct. Yeah.
Yeah. There's something missing is just a language. Are just words.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it's the mind when it's presented when contentment, it fails to recognize it's like, oh no, 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 no.
No, 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 no. You don't want to
You
go
know,
for
what's
contentment.
next? Yeah, what's
Yeah.
next? What's
Yeah.
next? There's something
Yeah.
better than this. There's a
Yeah.
better experience than this out there. Yeah, yeah,
It's like it's like there's this perfect lover in front of you, and then the
yes,
mind is like an app. You're like, no, no, that's not
uh,
that's the perfect
yeah,
partner, perfect lover. And you're like, no, no, I
yeah,
have this app. I'm looking for
yeah,
that.
yes, yes.
Yeah,
I guess we just keep fooling ourselves like that
that's
on a
it
daily
is.
basis.
It is. It's almost like I was talking to James, who's a psychotherapist before you, and he said
Mm,
we're just really bullshitting ourselves over and over again.
yeah,
And we're believing our own
yes,
bullshit, basically, right? And then on top of that, we
yeah,
believe in other people's bullshit, and then we buy it,
yeah,
right?
yes.
You know, we buy
Sometimes we
that.
think their bullshit is better than our bullshit.
That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
When you look at it,
yeah.
all words are made up,
Wow.
right? And it's
Yeah.
really humbling, you know, that this, you know, realization that there's nothing to realize.
No.
What's there to
You know,
realize?
when you mentioned Lucy before, I know Lucy's that movie, that
Yeah,
crazy
yeah,
movie,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
then, my mind was going to the other Lucy. There's a documentary about the first humanoid figure, whatever, Lucy. I don't know if you've seen it. It's
No, no, I remember that Scarlett Johansson movie,
it's like
Lucy, right?
before Homo sapiens, like a million years ago, the first
Oh,
humanoid sort of thing. Her name was Lucy as well.
oh, wow.
But what you said could sort of refer to both, because that
That's
Lucy
right.
probably didn't have any thoughts, you know?
That's right. Yeah.
That Lucy
Yeah.
probably didn't have any thoughts. So I started thinking about that Lucy, but then later on I realized you talked about the movie Lucy. I'm like,
That's right.
but
Yeah,
it
yeah.
works for both of them. They're both
Yeah.
the same.
Both, yeah. It's all made up. Any idea that you can come up with this, even the most grandiose idea of like, this is all me, or this is
Mm,
all consciousness. I am this, I am that. To the opposite of that, this is really nothing happening, or to the new religion of just this. It's all words. It's all made up, right?
mm,
And even saying that it can't be known is made up. It's just a lot of gatekeeping. The words are the veil, right? But the word veil is just the word. So really, there's no veil. That's why I ask, what are you without language? Who are you without language? What is happening without language? Is it really happening? Or is the language making it look like that it's happening?
mm.
All right, Nas, we're gonna end it like right there. I think that's a good way
Yes.
to
No worries, bro. Thank you. Thank you
I'm
very
gonna
much.
I'm gonna stop the recording.